LaShawn, these kind of foggy and wet conditions, what kind of an effect is that going to have on the athletes today?
Yeah, I think one of the problems you'll see is this is going to be like March Madness. It'll be a little bit of survive and advance. And what it comes down to, it'll come down to footing. When you're talking about hurdles, when you're talking about setting yourself to throw the javelin, it's about footing, making sure you're secure, and trying to survive until this afternoon where the weather's supposed to be a lot better. Yeah, I think most people thought that the athletes caught a break this morning, but in the last 30 minutes, current conditions are telling us it's a little windy, it's getting colder, it's high 50s maybe, and I think it's going to affect the way they warm up. In the end, the athletes are going to have to figure out how to work a little harder to get to that light sweat that they want to have before they start their races. So everybody's concentrating on how to deal with this weather as they head into the day's competition. I get a chance to talk to a guy that I've had the pleasure of losing to at the Penn Relay Carnival in 1994, Carl Lewis. Obviously, you're here in a work capacity with the University of Houston, but it's great to have you in a we think a track capital in Austin, Texas.
Well, that's great. And I had great times here at the NCAA. I was a champion here in Texas relays and different events. So it's great for me to be back as well with the University of Houston.
Yeah, we talking about Cameron Burrell and seeing another generation get going. We're seeing 38 in the 4x1 by Texas A&M. Talk about the state of track and field as you see it right now.
Well, it's great. I mean, for me, I'm just getting the groove of this college thing. I just started with the team this season, and it's great working with Leroy Burrell and Floyd Hurd, you know, my teammates when I ran. For us to be on the same staff is great. But I think the biggest thing is for me to get the rhythm of what's going on and to see someone like Cameron when I saw him born and now all of a sudden he's in college. It's just great to be a part of that experience.
Yeah, so you mentioned Floyd Hurd, you mentioned Leroy Burrell, Santa Monica Track Club. Track and field has changed, a lot of eyes. This is a stadium specific for track and field and soccer now, so you see a lot more investment into track and field. Talk about where you've seen the sport go.
Well, I think that's great. I think it's great that they're taking the tracks out of the big stadiums and putting them in stadiums that fit the sport more. Of course, now it's professional in a way that they call it. We kind of helped create that, and now they're running that way. I just hope the athletes understand that they still have an obligation, you know, to push the sport forward, because if you're not going forward, you're moving back.
Now, what do you expect to see out of the University of Houston? We've already seen some great performances already, but what do you expect to see out of them today?
Well, we actually have a 4x1 we just ran in, and the girls are running pretty well. They'll be in the finals of the relay. And tomorrow we'll have some relays as well, and Cameron's running the sprint, and LaShawn Collins is running the 100 meters as well. So I think those guys will run extremely well. Our sprinters are strong. Jumpers are coming, because, you know, those are my bulk. But our distance runners, I'm really excited about how our distance coaches have done a great job of bringing them up.
Now, with all your wealth of experience, what do you hope to pass on to the kids you get to coach right now?
Well, the biggest, there are two things. Number one, expectation, because when we competed back in the 80s and 90s as a long jumper, that was my main event, 28 feet was the norm, and now they're winning 6, 7, 8 to a foot less. So what I want to do is raise the expectation of what they think is excellent, because kids now I think, have gotten to where they're focused on the medal and not on the performance. So we could turn around and say, forget the medals, jump for distance, not for place.
Absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Trey, you always make me laugh because you come over here, you ran 100, you do so many events, but you say you're tired after this one.
Man, I'm getting old. Yeah. It was just a long week. This is like one of the hardest months of my life training, which is a good thing. But to come out here and run 10:44, I don't care what the wind is, I had to move my legs.
You had to move your legs to get there. Now, obviously, you're 30 years old. You got 2 years to train until Rio. Talk about how you dial it down a little bit. As you get older, you're stronger. Your muscles have muscle memory. You don't have to do as much. Talk about how that 2 years is going to work for you as you get older.
That's a great question. You let me know the perfect way to do it, and we'll do that. But, you know, it's just a process. You know, like you said, I've been doing it a while. I don't need the repetitions that I used to need, so we can train smarter. We can focus on making the engine bigger, because the models are what we need them to be. So this is a really exciting year. Especially 10:44 through almost 49 meters in the disc yesterday, pole vaulted 17 feet, and we're training hard. So
let's say you feel good about where you are right now.
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations on today. I always have a good time looking at you run.
So that's the most important thing, is having fun no matter the outcome. I'm out here getting to do what I love for a living, and it's awesome.
Thanks, Trey.
All right,
Sitting here, I'm kind of speechless. I wasn't expecting 147 after that start. Tell me about your plan for today coming into this race to get this work.
So my plan was just to come here and just go for the win. I didn't really know what to expect, especially because of the wind. It was really windy, so I knew that I was going to need to tuck in a little bit.
So when you come into this race, you have a longer season than most of these collegiate athletes. How are you planning coming into this race besides just getting some speed work in?
Excuse me. Well, you know, I've been very blessed that I've been doing this for a very long time, and I know what it takes, and it's the experience, and the experience is what pulls you along, and of course, you have to work. So that combined, it's a pretty deadly combination.
Well, Leo, go get some rest. It's great to see you run. Great to have you back in Austin
Hey,
as
Sean,
well.
thank you so much. And again, I just want to thank James Barr and Coach Barney Sustanian for this. I appreciate all this support. And the University of Texas, hook 'em horns.
Let's talk about this race a little bit. You guys were bunched up for a long time. At what point did you decide, now it's time for me to go?
Yeah, a goal of mine this year is just to be really working on that last half of the race. So I knew everyone was going to be coming that last lap, but I just tried to just buckle down and just focus on turning over as best as I could.
Now, when you see people trying to make a move on you as the leader, what's kicking in your head to make you think, okay, how do I answer this?
Yeah, I think it's just being confident when you decide to make your move and just going with it as best you could. You can't control what everyone else has. All you can do is focus on what you have and what you can give. So I just tried to give my best effort the last half.
Well, congratulations on the win today.
Thank you.
I'm here with Curtis Beach from Duke. And Curtis, obviously you pulled out of the remainder of the decathlon. Talk a little bit about why you pulled out and what the situation is with you.
Well, there's a couple reasons. One, my hamstring was pretty tight and we want to be cautious. And also a lot of fatigue coming off of NCAAs 2 weeks ago and then another meet 2 weeks before that. So I was just kind of drained and, want to be cautious, and then we're going to go after it later.
So your overall health, you feel pretty good. It's just a fatigue factor right now and letting your body heal as you go forward.
Yeah, exactly. Just let my body heal, and then we're going to be in good shape coming in a few weeks for another decathlon to put up a good score.
Now, Coach, obviously your strategy going forward to qualify for the national meet has to change a little bit. So how will you work that going forward?
Well, we'll get back to training when we get back from here, and now the focus will be on ACCs. So we'll just readjust our goals a little bit, and I think that new goal will be to go into ACCs and win that and be the ACC champion. It's worked well for us in the past. Curtis competing at ACCs, he was second in the 2010 NCAA championships outdoors. And, we went there and went after it at ACCs then. And so we're just going to kind of go back to that plan.
So there's a little bit of a fatigue factor when you come off of these multi-events, and sometimes it breaks the body down and you need a long time to recover, and he did have a few of them squeezed into about a month period.
Yes, with the NCAA indoor championships being 2 weeks before, actually less than 2 weeks before the NCAA championships, and then we had to really be careful with our training going into NCAAs to make sure he was rested, and then that was 10 days ago. And we thought we could get here and maintain that peak and get out of here with a qualifier, but the fatigue was just a little too much, and I don't want to risk him getting hurt. He's starting to tighten up a little bit, his hamstring, as he mentioned. And we have to look big picture, and big picture is outdoor NCAAs, which is, quite a few weeks away.
Well, thank you both for coming. Good luck going forward, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.